Hello, sweet sisters. I know it has been a week. I hope you enjoyed the holidays for those of you that were celebrating. I needed the week off. My daughter was home with her boyfriend and we have had a wonderful time, and I'll be honest with you, we ended up having some family get together and I have not laughed that hard in a long time. I needed that laughter for the end of the year. So let me know how each of you are doing. Give me a kind of a scale on a 1 to 10 about where are you, with 1 being I'm not doing too great and 10 being I am a rock star today. I'm actually doing an 8-9, maybe even a 9.5. I'm inching close to a 10. Hello, Sarah, sweet sister. So good to see you. Let me know how you are doing. So I always love this week, the week when we're finishing up 1 year and we're going into the new year. Hello, Aggie. I was thinking about you the other day, sweet sister. So good to see you as well, and love to see you as well, Roxanne. All right, about a 6. All right, Aggie, I'll send you some extra energy here. But I love this week when we have, it's like the intersection of the past and the future, where the intersection comes together. Hello, Lisa. I was thinking about you too. All right, Sarah, I'm sorry you're down to the 3. So maybe this is going to be a little bit to lift you up and give you an extra shot of energy. Hello, Marilyn. So here's the thing, is the reason I've always loved this week. So I mentioned to you before that sometimes in the holidays, coming from a split family, I learned to endure the holidays and not always enjoy them. I talked about that a few weeks ago. I see the hearts. I have a red jacket moment story to share with you today, so I'm going to tie this in just a moment. So I told you that my own personal journey was learning how to enjoy the holidays and not simply endure them. And so this year I did really well at that. My daughter was home. My daughter is grown. She's out on her own now, so it was delicious to have her back and with her boyfriend. We were here for the week, and then I've got her for a few more days, which is just wonderful. For any of you that are moms with families that have left, you know what a joy it is whenever they come back. It's also a challenge because you end up learning a new side of your relationship, and we're still evolving through that. So why this week? I took a much needed break last week as I was thinking of you all, but took a much needed break because I needed just simply to be off camera, and that was a good thing. What I love about this week, I wanted to jump in because what I'll be talking about is tuning into the energies of the new year. So we crossed over the winter solstice that I mentioned on December 21st. And don't you wish that when we enter through a portal of energy like that, don't you wish like there'd be a big banner outside saying, up level your life, folks, take advantage of this, energy? Or don't you wish we could almost have a light switch where all of a sudden we would walk outside and the world would immediately be different? Well, that isn't the case, but I have been talking to a lot of people who have been feeling very intense energies this week. So Barbara, Lynn, Eva, let me know, have you all been feeling the intense energies? So Kim, what does that mean? How do you feel the intense energies? Hello, Vashti, sweet sister. Sometimes it shows up in the fact that we don't have an appetite, or we want to eat more than usual. Sometimes it shows up in our having lots of extra sleep. Last week, I actually slept one day for 12 hours, and I did not take anything to help me sleep. I don't know where that happened from. It could be where you're not able to sleep. What happens is we're having downloads of a huge amount of cosmic energy coming into our world. And we're actually at a really exciting time for humanity. I've mentioned that a few times over the past couple of weeks. So as we go through this shift, ear ringing, Lisa, I hear lots of people feeling that ear ringing. So I don't want you to be surprised by that. What it is, and I talked, the last video, I talked about what do we want to let go and what do we want to bring in for the new year. The energy of this crossover week, I always feel so energized because I'm like, whew, I made it through the holidays, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the new year. I'm ready to put up everything with this holiday, Vashti, and what do I do for the new year? And make my plans. And so later on this week, I'm going to share with you what this blank journal is for. It's a practice that I've been doing every single New Year's Eve, so I'll be talking more about that coming soon. But this crossover week, it's the clash of the past and the future, and we straddle the present. So in the book Your Lion Inside, in one of the chapters I talked about Nikki, the Nikki story, where she had what she's called a red jacket moment. So she was the one who hired me to help her become a better public speaker. That was her whole goal, was to please help me speak to 100 people with confidence. Okay, we can do that. And so as we did that, we learned all kind of communications techniques. What we also redid was everything about her brand. She was in middle management, a corporation, working her way up. And she was preparing a new profile picture, going to have a photo shoot. Everybody's favorite part, right? And we were talking about what would she wear. Now this woman was of Indian descent, and I said to her, could you possibly wear a red jacket? And right away she said, no, can't wear a red jacket. I was like, okay, all right, I wonder why. So I let it lie. And about an hour into it, when we were wrapping up, I asked her again. I said, Nikki, when you do the photo shoot, could you have one of your pictures taken with a red jacket? And she started to say no to me immediately when she put her hand over her mouth. And she went, oh my. She said, I just realized why I can't wear a red jacket. She said, my parents are from a town in India where the bride wears red so that all eyes are on her. I just realized that I can't wear a red jacket because I don't want all eyes on me. And a tear started to roll down her face. She said, Kim, how am I ever going to advance like I'm telling you that I want to if I'm not able to have all eyes on me? That became known as the red jacket moment. So whenever I wear a red jacket, I always think of Nikki. Because from that point on, I have to tell you, I share it in the book, it was a transformative moment. And so whenever we're going through changes in our life, we always come to an intersection where there is a choice about are we going to be transformed or not. And I was facing the same thing as I was going into 2021. So I am based in the US. We have a lot of craziness going on right now. And I made a choice about how to start my year. I asked myself, what do I want the theme for this year to be? And the energy that I was feeling right now was be brave. Be brave. Courage is calling. Courage. And I really started to think about, what does that word courage even mean? And so for me, it meant, Kim, you speak up about some things that you think are not going right in the country. Don't leave it for someone else to do for you on your behalf. And so I am actually, the way I'm kicking off my year this year is I'm actually driving to Washington, D.C. by myself on Sunday. And I am going to work on meeting with some congressmen. I'm going to do some research for a book I have coming up. And I'm going to have my voice known while I'm there that week. Because I realize as an American citizen, you know, and I think this happens for so many of us, is I actually had gotten pretty lazy about my citizenship. I love this country. I love many countries, so please keep in mind, but because I'm a citizen here, I really do believe in nourishing that and protecting that. And what I've learned this year is that there was a lot of us lost our eyes on the ball. And so can one person change the world? I've always believed they could. Will next week change the world? Probably not. But what it does do is I am embracing my lion inside. I am embracing my courage to make the choice to do it. And so I told my husband I'm going to be gone for a few days, and I'm excited about starting off the year that way. I'm going to do some writing for an upcoming book. I'm going to do some more videos for all of you. And I wanted to overcome the fear. You see, what I realized, and see if this resonates with any of you, what I realized is that there are 4 things that are tap dancing in our collective subconscious right now. Fear, control, shame, and guilt. Fear, control, shame, and guilt. And so every day we are running into one of those 4. We can either allow it to defeat us or we can rise above it. For me, it was about rising above the fear and going to do something that I genuinely believed in. It was about speaking up what I needed to do for myself, understanding that others may not get it, and that's okay. It's my journey in my life, just like it's your journey in your life, sweet sisters. And so I share this with you because, you know, there was a moment there when I was like, oh, should I do it? I could come up with 100 reasons not to do it. Hello, Margaret, I see you. And Aggie, I see you, True, as well. The brave and the courageous path for each of us is different. For some people, it might be simply doing something different in their routine. For others, it's writing a letter to the editor. For others, it's speaking up to them for themselves to a family member that's bullied them for a very long time. Whatever the case might be, What the question is are we listening to that soul's calling? I see all the hearts. I see this resonating with all of you. Are we listening to the soul's calling? Because when I use the phrase sovereignty over self, that was part of what Nikki had to work with on the whole red jacket. Was she ready to step into her sovereign power of herself to say, I am ready to be seen? I watched that red jacket moment transform her. She then went on to increase her salary by 51% and has since been promoted again at a different company. So it's really neat for me to watch the power of what happens. What I do know is this, is that each time that we give in to fear, control, shame, or guilt, 4 things. 4, I want you to think about them as being a big hand trying to push us down and keep us in a small place. And this is the struggle that happens no matter where we are in the world, sweet sisters. So for those of you that are in other countries, part of why I'm even going to Washington is because I've always believed that America is simply interwoven with so many other countries that if we give up some things that we counted on for our freedom, that ripples throughout the world. I've shared with you for the past few months of how connected I think that we all are. So how brave am I? That was the question I was asking myself as I made this decision. How brave am I? What do I love enough to speak up, to speak out for? I love my kids, my nieces, my future grandchildren. I love my country. And sweet sisters, I love you. I want you to know that in the darkest of moments, when I was, have ever been fearful about whether or not to speak up or to do something, I think of my global sisters around the world. And you see, some of us, hello, sweet Bonnie, just came in at a pivotal time with 4 things. There you go, sweet girl. Aggie, how can I get your book? Send me a message, Aggie, and I will figure out how to get you a copy, okay? The thing I know is that when it comes to the global sisterhood is just how interconnected we all are. And I simply believe that we're at a powerful point right now in society overall. And we have the freedom to speak up. And I'm going to claim that freedom. Because many times we just leave the freedom to the side like some luggage that's left in the closet that we don't really use. How do we express our freedom? What does freedom even mean to us? And that's part of what the whole point of the book, because remember I talk about the red zone, the yellow zone, the green zone. I talk about the green zone of freedom. I know what it's like to walk through the world feeling very powerless, like I cannot influence it. I also know what it's like to walk through the world claiming my sovereignty over self and living to my fullest degree of what I am able to bring in every present moment, sweet sisters. So that's what was on my mind today. Enjoy this week. Enjoy this week of this intersection, despite the chaos and the craziness around us right now. I'm going to be launching a course within the next 90 days about intuitive intelligence. I am mapping out my plans for the year now of what the year is going to look like. I am becoming a certified crystal healer, learning how to use crystals just to support our engagement, in addition to prayers and support and affirmations. Aggie, that was beautiful. Thank you, Aggie, sweet sisters. You always inspire me as well, Aggie. And so I'm also going to become certified in something called the Heart Math Institute, and I'll be sharing that more as you go through the year. So I'm taking all of the traditional things that I know, and I'm going to start adding some non-traditional things, and I'm going to be brave about how I intersect those two. I know that the new world that we're getting ready to go into is going to require new ways of thinking. And I'm going to be here to support you as we do that. I also want to encourage you to dig deep, to ask yourself, where do I need to be brave in my world right now? Where can I take a step towards claiming that sovereignty over self? It's a beautiful space, sweet sisters. So while the trees are barren at the moment, we all know that spring is coming. So as I take a look, spring is only 90 days away for many of us. Not long. What are you going to do with that 90 days? What are you doing to step into being brave? If you end up being in DC, be sure to send me a note and I'll certainly catch up with you, sweet sisters. And Aggie says, have a beautiful new year, sweet sisters, as for you as well, for all of you. I'm wrapping you with much love, much light. I can't wait to share with you some ideas this week about how to usher in the new year. Drink in this new energy. Drink in the light that's around you and say, I'm ready. I'm ready to be brave. I claim the sovereignty over self. Things are going to work out better than I can possibly imagine. That's what's ahead for us all, sweet sisters. Be brave. Courage is calling.